The spark of retribution. The colony was quiet under the pale light of its twin moons. Small homes stood in neat rows built with steel and glass, shining against the barren desert ground. Children played outside, their laughter carried by the cold night air. For a moment, everything felt peaceful. No one on this colony knew that it would be their last night. Above them, far beyond the reach of their telescopes, alien warships entered orbit. Their hulls were black as shadow, moving, in silence, only the faint glow of their engines giving them away. These were not scouts. This was an invasion. The warning came too late. A watch officer inside the colony's small defense station noticed strange signals on her screen. Multiple unknown signatures, she whispered, her voice trembling. She sent an emergency alert to Earth and to the nearest fleet command. Her hands shook as she spoke into the comms. "This is Outpost Vega 7. Unknown ships in orbit. Please respond. The signal cut out. In the next instant, fire rained down. Energy beams lanced through the night sky, cutting buildings in half. Explosions shook the ground as people screamed and ran. The colony's defense turrets fired desperately, but their rounds bounced harmlessly against the alien shields. Families tried to hide in underground bunkers, but the invaders targeted them too. The air was filled with dust, smoke, and the cries of the dying. Inside the command bunker, Commander Elias knew the truth. They could not win. He turned to his officers, his face pale but steady. "Send the final message," he ordered. A young technician nodded and transmitted a short burst to Earth. "We are under attack. Thousands dead. They show no mercy. Remember us." Seconds later, the bunker was hit. Everything turned to fire. Far away in the cold void of space, the message reached the fleet relay. Hours later, it appeared before Admiral Kane and his flagship. The holoscreen flickered as the words repeated over and over. "They show no mercy. Remember us." Kane stood in silence. His crew waited, afraid to speak. He was a man with gray streaks. In his hair and scars across his face, a veteran of battles long forgotten. He had fought for peace, believed in treaties, and endured the arrogance of the alien councils. He had accepted insults when they called humanity weak. But now, as the final words of the dying colony echoed in the silent bridge, something inside him hardened. His voice was calm, but it carried like steel. "Set the fleet on full alert," he said. The officers exchanged looks, realizing what this meant. Humanity had always held back. They had shown restraint, hoping for peace. But this was different. This was murder. Kane looked out at the stars through the wide glass window of the command deck. Somewhere out there, alien ships were celebrating their victory, laughing at the weakness of mankind. He clenched his fist. "They wanted war," he said quietly, almost to himself. "Then we will give them war." On Earth, the council chambers of the United Colonies filled with chaos as the transmission was played again. Politicians argued, shouting about diplomacy, about avoiding total war. Some still believed peace could be saved. But outside, in the ID-year streets of Earth's great cities, people were already marching. They carried banners with the names of the lost colony, their voices rising in one unified cry. "Remember Vega 7. Across the planet, factories lit up. Engineers worked through the night, pulling old designs from hidden vaults. The shadows of secret weapons long kept hidden now began to rise. Humanity, once patient, once forgiving, had been pushed too far. The alien council, far away on their shining world, received reports of their fleet's success. They celebrated, their voices dripping with arrogance. One commander laughed as he spoke. "The humans will cry. They will beg us for mercy." But he was wrong. In the silence of space inside the warship Iron Resolve, Admiral Kane watched as the fleet systems came alive. Engines roared, weapons lit up, and warships prepared to move. His officers looked at him, waiting for the final order. Kane's eyes were cold, his voice steady. "Mark the enemy fleets. Prepare all strike groups. The retribution begins now." The pier spark had been lit. Humanity, once patient and restrained, was no longer holding back. The stars themselves would soon feel the fire of their vengeance. Shadows of humanity. The alien High Council met inside their grand chamber, a place of crystal walls and golden pillars. Their voices echoed across the hall as they discussed the destruction of Vega 7. To them, it was nothing more than a message, proof that humanity was fragile. A tall alien with skin like polished stone rose from his seat. His voice carried arrogance. "The humans are weak," he said. "One colony erased and soon the rest will follow. They do not have the courage to strike back." Laughter filled the chamber. Some spoke of dividing Earth's resources. Others dreamed of enslaving survivors. None of them saw what was already unfolding in the dark. Far from their council, deep beneath the surface of Mars, hidden vaults opened for the first time in decades. Massive hangar doors groaned as engineers guided war machines into the light. These ships were not like the standard fleets used for patrols. These were prototypes designed in secret, crafted in silence, waiting for the day humanity would need them. The workers moved quickly, welding armor, loading weapons, activating engines that had slept for years. Sparks flew and the air was thick with the smell of metal and fuel. Every face carried the same expression, anger mixed with determination. A young mechanic wiped grease from his hands and whispered, "For Vega 7. Meanwhile, on the outer colonies, humans were not afraid. Instead, they prepared. Farmers turned their tractors into armored transports. Miners on asteroid belts converted their drills into rail cannons. Soldiers trained in empty deserts under artificial skies, their shouts echoing across the dunes. They remembered every insult, every broken treaty, every life lost. Humanity had been underestimated for too long. Admiral Kane stood at the center of his flagship's command deck, surrounded by flickering holograms of the galaxy. Red dots marked alien fleets across the stars. His officers reported updates one after another. "Sir, Shadow Squadron ready. Engineering confirms the Black Dawn project is operational. All civilian colonies preparing resistance measures." Kane nodded, his expression hard. "Good. Let them laugh in their councils. Soon the shadows will remind them what it means to provoke mankind." On the alien side, unease began to spread. Reports arrived of small but precise human attacks. A supply convoy disappeared in an asteroid field. A communications hub on a border world went silent. At first, the aliens dismissed it as accidents, but soon the losses grew. One alien commander slammed his fist against the table. "These are not accidents. The humans are striking back." The council scoffed. "Impossible. They do not have the strength." But their words rang hollow. Fear had begun to creep into their voices. On Earth, the people were united like never before. In the great city of New Geneva, thousands gathered under banners showing the names of the fallen colony. Old veterans gave speeches in the rain, their voices rising above the storm. "They think we are weak," one veteran shouted. "They think we will bow, but we are humanity, and we will show them our fire." The crowd roared in reply. The sound rolled across the city like thunder. Admiral Kane listened to the transmission from Earth as it played across his flagship. The chants of his people filled the bridge, every officer standing taller as the voices echoed. Kane felt the weight of centuries pressing on him. Every war humanity had fought, every scar carved into their history. He turned to his crew. "We will fight smart. We will strike where they least expect. And when the time is right, we will unleash everything we have. They believe we are shadows. Let us show them how dangerous shadows can be." His words were met with silence, but it was not hesitation. It was respect. Every officer's eyes burned with the same fire. Far away, an alien scout ship drifted near an abandoned human outpost. Its sensors picked up nothing, only silence. The commander smirked, ready to report that humans had fled. But as the ship turned, dozens of human fighters uncloaked from the darkness, surrounding the alien vessel. The alien captain froze, realizing the trap too late. A human pilot's voice cut through the comms, calm but filled with steel. "Remember Vega 7. Moments later, the alien ship exploded, its fire lighting up the void. Humanity's shadow war had begun. Every strike carried a message. Every move whispered the same promise. Retribution was coming, and the galaxy, once blind with arrogance, was beginning to feel the fear. Fire across the stars. The void of space was never silent anymore. Explosions bloomed across the stars, lighting the black sky with fire. Humanity had stepped out from the shadows, and now their retaliation spread like a storm. The first strike came in the Orion sector. A convoy of alien warships moved with arrogance, their shields lowered, their weapons silent. They believed the humans would never dare to strike openly. They were wrong. Hidden among asteroid fields, a squadron of human destroyers ignited their engines. Missiles streaked out like burning comets, striking the convoy in seconds. Alien ships twisted and turned, trying to escape, but the ambush was merciless. Flames spread across their fleet, and the survivors fled in terror. News spread quickly. For the first time, the galaxy saw aliens retreat before humans. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of his flagship Iron Resolve, watching the holomap as red enemy markers vanished one after another. His crew cheered, but Kane only narrowed his eyes. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Do not celebrate yet. They pushed us too far, and we are only starting to push back." On the alien side, panic crept through their ranks. A general slammed his claws against the table as reports poured in. Human fleets strike from nowhere. They attack supply lines, fuel depots, even strongholds. How are they everywhere at once? No one had an answer. The truth was simple. Humanity was fighting with a fury the aliens had never seen. In the dark reaches of the Kuiper Belt, a group of human pilots prepared for their next mission. They were young, faces lit by the glow of cockpit screens. Among them was Lieutenant Arya Cross, her hands steady on the controls. She whispered to herself, "For Vega 7. Her squadron launched into the black, flying low and silent, slipping past alien sensors. Ahead, a massive orbital station glowed, the heart of the alien supply chain. "Target locked," Arya said. Missiles streaked out. The alien station erupted in flames. Her squadron vanished into the stars before reinforcements could arrive. The galaxy whispered in fear. The humans strike like ghosts. Back on Earth, the people watched broadcasts of these victories. Streets filled with cheers, banners waved in every city. Children painted stars on their faces, shouting the names of the fleets. For the first time in generations, humanity was united under one voice. But Kane knew the cost. Every victory came with sacrifice. He read the casualty lists in silence, his face carved with grief. Young pilots, brave engineers, soldiers who gave their lives so the galaxy would know humanity's fire. His officers saw the weight in his eyes. One whispered softly, "Is it worth it, sir?" Kane's reply was steady but cold. "Every life we lose will be remembered. Every drop of blood adds to the fire of our retribution. We will not stop." The alien High Council could no longer laugh. Their borders burned, their fleets trembled, and their leaders shouted at one another in fear. One council member hissed, "We should have ended them quickly. Now their vengeance spreads across the stars." Another shook his head, his voice cracking. "This is no longer war. This is something worse. The humans fight as if they have nothing left to lose." Far away, in a hidden shipyard orbiting Titan, the true scale of humanity's preparation was revealed. Giant warships, larger than any alien dreadnought, rose from the shadows. Their hulls glowed with fresh paint, their cannons humming with energy. Engineers cheered as the ships powered up, engines rumbling like thunder. This was not defense anymore. This was retribution forged into steel. Admiral Kane stood before the fleet, his voice carrying across every ship. "They thought we would kneel. They thought we would beg. But now, they will learn the truth. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity fights." The fleet roared in answer, their engines igniting, ready to carry fire into the heart of the enemy. In the next days, human fleets struck across multiple star systems, Alien fortresses fell. Armies crumbled. Whispers spread in the dark corners of the galaxy. The humans are coming. The stars burn wherever they pass. They will not stop. And still, Kane watched the map of the galaxy with cold determination. The war was far from over. Humanity had lit the fire, but the storm ahead would test them like never before. Prepare for the next phase, he ordered, because the retribution had only just begun. The breaking point. The war had spread like fire. Alien fleets burned, human colonies bled, and the galaxy trembled with every battle. But the conflict had reached a point where neither side could turn back. Humanity had proven its fury, but the aliens still held numbers, worlds, and endless resources. On the bridge of Iron Resolve, Admiral Kane studied the holomap. Red enemy markers filled the galaxy like drops of blood. The human victories were real, but Kane knew they were fragile. Humanity had struck hard, but now the enemy was gathering for a final push. They will send everything they have, Kane said quietly. His voice was calm, but his officers could hear the weight behind it. If we face them as we are now, we cannot survive. The silence on the bridge was heavy. Everyone knew the truth. Humanity had given everything, and still it might not be enough. Far across the galaxy, alien war councils prepared their response. Thousands of ships gathered in the outer systems. Commanders barked orders, confident that this time they would crush humanity once and for all. They fight like animals, one alien general hissed, but animals can be broken. This time we will break them. But the aliens had underestimated one final truth. Humans never reveal all their cards until the last moment. In a hidden shipyard beyond Saturn's rings, shadows moved. Massive structures rotated slowly in the dark, cloaked by artificial fields. Inside, engineers worked day and night, their faces lit by the glow of engines larger than city towers. And at the center of it all, the Black Dawn fleet was waiting. These were not ordinary warships. Their hulls were layered with armor no alien weapon had pierced. Their cannons could split moons. Their engines carried them faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each ship was a fortress, each one a promise that humanity would never kneel again. Admiral Kane stood inside the hangar, gazing up at the lead ship, the Eclipse. Its black steel stretched into the darkness, dwarfing everything around it. For a moment, even Kane felt small. A young engineer approached him, eyes burning with pride. "Sir, the Black Dawn is ready. We finished the tests. She's yours to command." Kane placed his hand on the cold metal of the ship's hull. He thought of Vega 7. He thought of every name on the casualty lists. He thought of the children, who would never grow up. The voices silenced forever. And in that silence, Kane made a vow. "This ship will be their voice," he said. "The galaxy will hear them through fire." The reveal came not in secret, but in battle. Alien fleets surged forward, confident and hungry for victory. Thousands of ships filled the Orion sector, weapons armed, ready to crush the last human defenses. The alien commanders boasted, their laughter echoing across comms. "Today humanity dies," one shouted. But the stars shifted. Shadows moved. And then, out of the darkness, the Black Dawn fleet emerged. Massive warships slid forward, their engines burning like suns. The aliens froze, their laughter dying in their throats. Never before had they seen ships of such size, such power, such presence. The Eclipse led the way, its cannons glowing with deadly light. For a heartbeat there was silence, and then Kane's voice thundered across the comms. "This is Admiral Kane of Earth. You destroyed Vega 7, you slaughtered our people, and now you will face our retribution." The Black Dawn opened fire. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Alien fleets shattered under the first strike, their shields collapsing like paper. Explosions rippled across space as human warships drove forward, relentless and unyielding. But the fight was not easy. Aliens poured everything they had into the battle. Swarms of smaller ships, heavy cruisers, even planetary weapons. The void burned with light, every second a clash of steel and fire. Inside the eclipse, Kane gripped the rail as the ship shook under enemy fire. His crew worked furiously, calling out damage reports, but his voice remained steady. Hold the line. Push forward. We cannot break now. This is our breaking point. Or theirs. For hours the battle raged. The stars themselves seemed to bleed. Humanity's fleet took heavy losses, but the Black Dawn fought like a beast unleashed. Where one ship fell, another rose in its place. Where alien fleets surged, humans struck harder. At last the alien formation broke. Their commanders screamed for retreat, their confidence shattered. Ships fled into the dark, their great armada in ruins. Humanity had not only survived, they had broken the enemy's spirit. As silence returned to the battlefield, Kane stood on the command deck, staring at the wreckage scattered across the stars. His crew cheered, but he did not smile. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "They thought they could break us. But now we will show them what it means to fight humanity to the end." And somewhere in the darkness, the enemy listened. For the first time, they knew fear. Retribution unleashed, the galaxy burned. Across hundreds of star systems, alien fleets fell back in chaos. Their once proud warships drifted as burning wrecks, scattered like ashes in the void. But the true storm was yet to come. Humanity was no longer striking in shadows. Humanity was moving for the heart. Admiral Kane stood before the holomap inside the eclipse. The alien capital world glowed red at the center of the display. Around it, fleets massed in desperation. Thousands of ships, forming a final shield. The alien council had summoned every vessel, every soldier, every weapon they had left. "They know if they lose this, it's over," one officer whispered. Kane's eyes narrowed. His voice was steel. "Then we will end it here. Not tomorrow, not in years. Today." The Black Dawn fleet surged forward, engines burning brighter than suns. Every human ship, from the smallest fighter to the largest dreadnought, carried the same message etched into their hearts. Remember Vega 7? The alien fleets met them head-on. The void erupted into a storm of fire. Explosions flashed like lightning. Warships colliding in waves of steel and fury. Alien commanders screamed orders, but their voices cracked with panic. For every human ship that fell, 3 aliens followed. Humanity fought with precision, with fury, with the unyielding will of a species that refused to bow. In the thick of battle, Lieutenant Aria Cross led her squadron through swarms of alien fighters. Her ship shook as lasers grazed its hull. Alarms, screaming, but her voice remained calm. "Stay close. Push through." Her squadron dove between enemy lines, releasing a storm of missiles that tore apart a massive carrier. The blast lit up the battlefield and the humans broke through. Arya whispered under her breath, "For every child they took, for every voice they silenced." Inside the alien capital, the High Council watched in horror. Their great defense fleets were collapsing, their mighty war machines burning. "This cannot be," one shouted. "We are stronger, we are—" The chamber shook as distant explosions rattled the skies. Fear spread through their ranks. The arrogance that had once filled their voices was gone. Now there was only silence. Back in the eclipse, Admiral Kane stood tall as his flagship charged into the heart of the battle. Alien dreadnoughts surrounded them, weapons blazing, but the Black Dawn tore through with unstoppable force. "Target the capital defense grid," Kane ordered. The mere Eclipse's cannons glowed white-hot, then unleashed a blast that shattered the planetary shields. The capital world lay exposed, its defenses broken. Kane's voice echoed across the fleet comms. "This is the price of their cruelty. This is humanity's retribution." Every ship opened fire. On the alien capital, the skies turned to flame. Towers crumbled, fortresses fell, and the Council's armies scattered. The people of the once mighty empire looked up and saw human warships blazing across their heavens. The Council tried to flee, but there was nowhere left to run. Humanity had reached them. Humanity had broken them. The battle lasted until the last alien flagship burned, and then silence. The stars, once filled with fire, now carried only drifting wreckage and the quiet hum of victorious human engines. On the bridge of the eclipse, Kane stood with his crew, their faces lit by the glow of ruined enemy worlds. An officer whispered, "It's over," but Kane shook his head. "No, it has only begun. From this day they will never forget us. We were patient, we were merciful, but they pushed us too far. Now they will carry the memory of our retribution for as long as stars burn." Back on Earth, the news spread. Crowds filled the streets, voices rising together in one thunderous cry. Humanity stands unbroken. Children looked to the skies with hope. Veterans wept in silence. Families lit candles for the fallen, but their tears were mixed with pride. For the first time in history, the galaxy understood a truth carved in fire. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not fragile. Humanity was a storm that no empire could contain. And as the stars turned quiet, Admiral Kane whispered the words that would echo across generations. They wanted us broken. Instead, we became their nightmare. The retribution was complete. The legend of humanity had begun.